You got it. Okay, everyone, thank you for being here today. Just wanted to let you know, I switched around an agenda item to hear a nomination for student union treasurer because Mark, who's here today, has to be somewhere. So I switched that one so we could hear that one first. But we will still get to the other item in general orders today as well. Awesome. Okay, so we'll begin with the prayer. Amen. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here today as during this Ash Wednesday, as we enter into the season of Lent. Please allow us to let you enter into our hearts and allow us to make concerted efforts to give alms, be closer to you, and show compassion to other people. Similarly, as JPW approaches this weekend, please, for juniors, allow our parents to travel in safely from many parts of the country and many parts of the world. Please allow us to always be kind to one another, and to spread your joy and love always. In your name we pray, amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Okay, so the question today is, who is your celebrity crush? Okay. Louis Cornett.
Here, Senator Davis.
Avery Gaylor.
Here, Andrew Garfield.
Do you have a proxy for Thomas Cluck?
Here.
So can you say your name, your year, your dorm, and a fun fact about you?
Yeah, of course. I'm Diego. I'm a first year. I am from Homer Hall. Fun fact, I once helped an uncle kill a snake.
Okay.
Okay, Amelia Forrest.
Here, Jacob Elordi.
Do we have a proxy for Ryan Murray? You don't. Hi, Peter. You could answer the question.
The moon.
The moon? Yeah. I like the moon too.
Caitlin Garcia.
Here, you guys are familiar with Danny Wellness on IG. Great talk, he's a great guy.
That's great.
We'll check that out after. Jeff Godinez.
Here, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC, all right.
Jacob Zamora.
Anya Taylor-Joy from the Queen's Gambit.
Ryan Lally.
Here, Rigo Villacutis.
Justice Walker. Joseph Tunney.
Here, Sydney Sweeney.
Lindy Scooby.
Here, Patrick Dempsey.
Isabel Rodriguez.
Here, Lakeith Stanfield.
Marie, do you have a proxy for Maria Bueno?
Oh, here.
Yes. So can you say your name, year, dorm, and back?
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm from JFAM, freshman this year. And fun fact, I've had a run-in with a bear before. Actually, multiple bears.
But you survived.
I'm here. Yeah.
Rocco Giannotti.
Here, Gordon Ramsay.
Justin Aguiar.
Here, Scarlett Johansson.
Clay Chauncey.
Here.
Claire Hoban.
Here, very sad.
Libby Meister.
Here, Tom Holland.
Maeve Miller.
Here, Ross Lynch.
James Bradley.
Here, Selena Gomez.
Jason Espinoza.
Here, Beyonce.
Charlie Peel.
Here, Anne Hathaway.
Bella Vasquez.
Here, young Leo DiCaprio.
Maura Myers.
Here, Paul Messer.
Yara Obidi,
Here, Christian Bell.
Vinny Vidali,
Margaret Robbie.
Andrew Ryan,
Here, Whitney Houston.
Ryan Casey, Dorian Koshiam,
Here, Zendaya.
Mariana Esparza,
Here, Joe Curie.
Quinn Shannon,
Here, Christian Pulisic.
Caro Fallon, Caro Fallon, or Proxy, Ian Show,
Here, Florence Pugh.
Faith Sullivan,
Here, you have to do Grimace.
Lulu Romero, or Proxy for Lulu Romero. Yeah, you were here last week, but sure, yeah. Rose Wen,
Timothy Chalamet.
Max Spice,
SZA.
Aaliyah Applin,
Jalen Hurts.
Ava DeCroy,
Here, Miles Teller.
Val Marquetti,
Here, Tom Holland.
Aubrey DeStefano,
Henry Cavill.
Daniel Jung,
Here, I'm also gonna go with the moon.
Aiden Resner,
I'll say Tate McRae.
Hunter Brooks,
I'll say I'm going Merkel.
for sure. Hannah Flashwood,
Here, Lewis Pullman.
Lily Constantine,
Here,
Peter, yeah, the moon.
My name is Peter, I'm a senior.
Oh, you sure? Go for it.
Technically here.
Sure. Do you have another celebrity question or were you gonna change the moon?
I'm trying to think of a better one.
No, I think that's great. Bridget Shepherd, Corin Issa,
Here, Zach Everon.
yeah, and Mo Doyle. Here.
Well, Mo.
Celebrity crush. I don't know. Okay, that's Probably like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't believe.
This is how much I pay attention here. We answer the question, celebrities.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you guys. Next we will go into, oh gosh. Okay, we'll go into the approval of minutes. So you guys know how this is going. Yes.
I motion to amend on the first questioning, change Justice Walker to Amelia Forrest. And then at O to add Justice Walker as the person.
Can you say that, sorry, one more time, and then can you give the page numbers as well, if possible?
The pages are not numbered.
Oh, they're not.
Page 2, and
Okay,
Justice Walker to Amelia Forrest. Okay.
and then at letter O on page 3, to add the person who asked the question to Justice Walker.
thank you. We need a second to amend.
Do you bring it? Second.
Okay, we'll vote on making that amendment. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Okay, great. So we'll make that amendment and then feel free to keep reading over it until you are ready to make a motion to approve. Yeah, Liz.
Unanimous consent to approve the minutes.
Are there any objections to the, oh, wait, hang on. Okay, are there any objections to the unanimous consent to approve the minutes? Okay, great. Seeing that there are none, the minutes are approved. Okay, we'll go into executive announcements. One thing I wanted to just remind you guys about, just a friendly reminder about Senate decorum. As we have potentially more controversial items enter the Senate floor in the next couple of weeks. I wanted to remind everyone that we debate issues in the Senate, not personal beliefs. So if the conversation ever goes into either a personal belief, the morality of an issue, anything of that sort, I will be jumping in and stopping you. We debate issues in the Senate. Is everyone okay with that? I don't want anyone to be hurt by results of our conversations or any thing negative to come out of that. So I will be very stringent on that policy. So just wanted to let everyone know as we enter into the conversation. So if everyone's okay with that, then I would really appreciate it. Secondly, last week, we made a little bit of an oopsie up here. Thank you, Sam and others who brought this to our attention. With the order SO 232416, which was an order to add the student union deputy parliamentarians to the Constitution. Because that is a Senate order, it requires 2/3 of a vote to pass it in Senate, any order does. So whereas a resolution only requires a simple majority, and the vote that we counted was 17-11, but we did that quickly. That would not reach the threshold. So we were going to recount this week, but in the subsequent days, the author of that resolution, which is completely under his right, has decided to withdraw that motion entirely. So it wouldn't have passed anyway based on our first count, but just wanted to let you guys know that that did not pass, even though I said it did, my mistake. And he has decided to withdraw that, which is totally under his right. So are there any questions about that? Does that make sense? Okay, great. So that order never existed. So that's the way that we're going to proceed with that. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. We'll go into general orders, and we will start with a nomination for student union treasurer. Yes.
Motion to dispense with the reading.
Okay, we're now going to vote on dispensing with the reading. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, great. The reading is dispensed with. We are now in questioning. Mark and Hannah are here to answer any questions. Mark is the candidate for this position next year. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to ask at this time.
No, why'd you nominate for it?
So over the past year, Mark's been one of the 2 assistant student union treasurers in all parts of the process. He's been inquisitive about learning about the role. He's been into trying to make our office more efficient and just been totally into helping the office. I thought he'd be a great candidate for the role.
Sam?
Just a quick question, what are you hoping to do as student union treasurer?
Yeah, so I think on my part, I think Hannah has done an excellent job as student union treasurer, so a lot of it's just maintaining a lot of what she's trying to do. The number one thing that I want to do is make sure that I kind of keep the ship a sail while also ensuring that the assistant student union treasurers get a lot more learning during the period of time that I'll be having 2 of them. So I think like a huge part of it will be like mentorship in regards to like the constitutional perspective of what it means to be the student union treasurer, how we delegate funds and the allocation of such funds, as well as I think a huge part why I wanted to take on the role is specific to the Shirt Charity Fund and a lot of the work that we do there in terms of supporting medical expenses of students who need that. So I think just continuing the work there as well.
Thank you. We're still in question. Yep.
Motion out of questioning and debate.
Second.
Okay, we're now going to vote on moving out of questioning and into debate. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, great. Mark, if you could exit the room. We'll call you back in. Great, we are now in debate. Daniel?
I'll just jump in super briefly. I've known Mark for 3 years now. He's a really great guy. He cares deeply, deeply about Notre Dame. And I have no doubt that he's going to do an awesome job in this role.
Thank you, Dan. Any other points of debate? Hannah?
Yeah, so as I said before, I've worked with Mark for a year now. After knowing him for a year, I know how passionate he is about Notre Dame, about the student union. He came into the role of assistant student union treasurer with the goal of making the university better. And if you approve him, I think he'll do just that.
Thank you. Yeah, Ava.
I can also say that I know he worked with the CCC controller in prepping for winter reallocations and really was knowledgeable about how the club funding process worked as well, which is a large part of what FFB we work with them on. So I know he's really knowledgeable about that and it was really great to work with for our controller. So I think he'd be awesome.
Thank you, Ava. Yes.
I've only known Mark for very little, but every time I hear talk about like this issues, he seems to have a lot of knowledge, so I do believe he's gonna do a great job. And endorsing him or supporting his bid.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're still in debate. Yeah.
Motion without debate into a vote.
Okay, we will now vote on moving out of debate and into a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? We are now going to vote on a nomination for student union treasurer for the 2024-2025 academic school year. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Okay, great. It passes. So please welcome Mark with a round of applause as he enters. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you for allowing it to be read first as well. I appreciate it. I know it helps Mark out a lot. Oh, we're not there yet. Okay, so next we have SS 232410, a resolution to urge protection of sexual orientation in the university's non-discrimination clause. I would look favorably on this resolution being heard and read, but again, it is up to you whether you would like to dispense with the reading, but I would prefer it to be read.
A resolution to urge protection of sexual orientation in the university's non-discrimination clause. Whereas, according to the 2022 Inclusive Campus Survey, 48% of LGBTQ men and 35% of LGBTQ women reported experiencing adverse treatment due to their sexual orientation, while 1% of straight men and 0% of straight women reported experiencing the same. Whereas a critical tenet of the student experience at Notre Dame is the ability of each individual to feel accepted and protected in the community. Whereas the Catechism of the Catholic Church states that, quote, homosexual persons must be treated with respect, compassion, and sensitivity, and that every sign of unjust discrimination in their regard should be avoided. Whereas, in the spirit of inclusion at Notre Dame, it is stated that the university welcomes all people regardless of color, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, social or economic class, and nationality. Whereas, however, according to the current policy outlined in Duloc, the university reserves the right to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation in the administration of any educational programs, admissions policies, scholarship and loan programs, athletic and other school-administered programs, or in employment due to its omission of the aforementioned criteria. Whereas King's College and Stonehill College, other universities operated by the Congregation of Holy Cross, include the protection on the basis of sexual orientation in their non-discrimination clauses. Therefore, be it resolved that the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame Duloc asks that the university strongly consider including the protection of individuals on the basis of sexual orientation in the non-discrimination clause.
Thank you, Andrew. We are now in questioning. Any individual who is listed as a co-author on this resolution can answer questions or ask questions as well. So like, yes, Joseph.
Just a quick question. Doing some research, it says that the Office of Institutional Equity oversees the non-discrimination policy. I was just wondering if you talked to them about this.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Was there any reason why you didn't?
I mean, mainly because I was looking at past research of when this has been brought up for the Senate in the past, brought up in 1998, 2008, 2012. And I wanted to use this more as a measure of getting the conversation started and showing them that the student body at large, like this body is willing to make a statement on something like this, and then trying to open up those doors for conversations after that.
Question off of that then. When did the spirit of inclusion, do you know when that was written?
I think it was in the late 90s.
Okay. And has that been adjusted to add the provision for sexual orientation since then, or is that?
So that was originally written with the intent of talking about sexual orientation, but it never changed the non-discrimination clause. So the point is that the spirit of inclusion is not legally binding. So that was just merely a statement that they put out.
Okay.
And this is actually looking at the discrimination clause itself, so that's a legally binding statement they make.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. And then just for clarification's sake, I'm seeing nothing in here about gender identity. Is that correct?
Yes, it's just focusing on sexual orientation.
Thanks, Andrew.
Can I just ask as we move forward that we talk about just a wee bit slower and a little bit louder? That would be fantastic.
Yes. In the back, yeah.
Yes, so I just had a question for any of the authors, like, what are some ways, so it says that, the university technically reserves the right by virtue of this not currently being in the non-discrimination policy to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation. What are some ways in which that is occurring or potentially would occur?
Andrew,
I mean, I can put you in one instance last year, in the Observer, it talked about a student who, had a bisexual flag hanging in their room and they went to speak, they were, being like, mistreated by their roommate for that. And they went to talk to the rector about it and they said that the university wouldn't be able to do anything because of the non-discrimination clause, and it doesn't include the protection for sexual orientation. So that's just one example of how, that kind of put a hold on, someone trying to go to the university.
yes, Sam.
Yeah, so yes, your clarification, you have not met with, or and also to all the correspondence, you've not met with any administrators on this specific resolution.
That's correct, yeah. As I previously stated, this is more to get a foot in the door and kind of get the conversation going, show them that the student body is aware of the issue and willing to talk about it.
We're still in question. Yes, Jaden.
Do you have any information about like how the Senate voted in the past?
Yeah, so it was passed 3 times. It was passed once in 1998, once in 2008, and once in 2012. It was passed by a large margin each time. I don't know specifics, but yeah, it was passed those 3 times.
Yes, Liz.
I guess, what's your goal in trying, if it's been passed 3 times, and the university hasn't done anything, like, what's your goal, this time around?
Yeah, well, I think for one part, like the fact that it was last brought up in 2012, that was over 10 years ago. And with that, after that was passed, the university did establish PRISM ND. They did make strides in the right direction. And since then, like just this past summer, an LGBTQ alumni group was formed like officially by the university. So I think they've clearly made steps in the right direction. And this is just like going to show that it's kind of still on the forefront of people's minds, that it's still something relevant that they should tackle. And I think also since 2012, the national landscape around this issue has kind of shifted in a more favorable direction. So I think that's also important to consider.
Sam, go ahead.
So who would this resolution go to? Like, would it go to a specific office or just the university?
I mean, my main intent with this was directed at the university, especially because the fact that there's a new president coming in, there's a new chairman to the board of trustees, both in positions of influential power and kind of having an impact on this. So I'm not sure specifically who will go to, but I think just showing the university as a whole that this is something that's happening.
To clarify, likely we would send it to Office of Institutional Equity and Office of the President. We're still in question. Yeah, Max.
I vote to move out of questioning and debate.
Second. Okay, we're now going to vote on moving out of questioning and into debate. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, great. We are now in debate. Clay, sorry, I'm first.
I don't think I have to explain how the vote and an opinion on this can be deeply personal. So I respect everybody.
Sorry,
I moved to vote via Google form. Click it out.
close the ballot. Okay.
Are we gonna be going directly to a vote now?
No. He's just making a motion to make this vote a closed ballot vote. So it would be on Google Form. But I would need a second for that. Okay. So we're not going to vote on making this vote when we get to that position in the procedure, a closed ballot. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh.
Raise your hands high, please.
Sorry, can we go back to all those in
Yeah,
favor?
sorry.
It seems like a lot of hands to me, but
Aye.
okay, and now all opposed, please raise your hands very high. So that motion fails, so it'll remain an open vote. We're still in debate, though. Yes, Sam?
I have to read off a quote from Madison Nemeth, who was the former Judicial Council President in the 2022-23 year. And this was on another resolution concerning the ASL. I think that resolutions are not supposed to be used to get your foot in the door for administrators. If you come to a meeting with a resolution saying you have to do this, they don't like that. If you talk first, your resolution can be more well-written and come with a specific plan. We saw this with another resolution. I don't think passing this resolution is necessary for talking with the administration. It could actually potentially harm the relationship, and it may seem like we are forcing them to do something. That is just a quote that is repeated from Madison Nemeth, Judicial Council President, who also authored several resolutions when she was a senator, the former parliamentarian, and also, if I may, I have to quote Hunter Brook last year. He said, I think we should, I agree with Madison, I think we should meet with administrators and figure things out first. That's my.
Sam, Andrew, I'll give you yours. Chance to
I think
respond.
something really important to illustrate is that this has been passed 3 times before, like I said, multiple times. And I think that just that in itself kind of shows that the university is already aware of this. Like there was a petition last year. Clearly, the university is aware of something like this. They know that this is on students' minds. So I think it's, and again, it's not it's simply urging them to do it. I think there's a difference between like telling them outright. I think it's just urging them to open up the conversation and talk about it. I think that's the main intent here.
That's Avery, sorry.
In response to Sam's point, I just want to urge everyone, when we're voting, not to vote on the basis of how the senator went about writing and creating this motion, but rather the actual substance behind it. Although each senator has a different route in which they do want to pass resolutions and things like that, I think we need to focus on what this is asking for rather than how it's being asked.
Yes, Amelia, I saw your hand.
I just want to say, I think it's really important to consider not necessarily where you particularly stand on this issue, but think about the student body at large. I know personally students I've talked to who had a lot of reservation about coming somewhere like Notre Dame because they were worried that they wouldn't be welcome on the basis of their sexual orientation because of things like seeing that people aren't supporting these kind of things, which is just something to keep in mind in the sense that we represent students on the whole, and I think it's really important to focus on making people feel welcome and accepted, because that's a big part of Notre Dame in our community.
Yeah, Jaden, and then Mary Grace.
I think kind of going off of that, I think it's so important that kind of the same way that Andrew's able to bring up historically the way in which the Senate was voted, and the Senate obviously represents each of our dorm communities and the student community at large. It's important to have consistent, I think, reflections and updates about the ways in which the student body feels, especially in inclusive place. And being able to continue to highlight the way that we as a student body would or would not align with a topic like this.
Yeah, Mary Grace, could you introduce yourself as well as your position in the student union?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Mary Grace. I'm the Director of Disability Advocacy for Notre Dame Student Government. I was involved with the ASL initiative that Sam's referencing. And I think that there's a huge difference between going to the university there's a difference in how you approach coming to a group with a resolution and without a resolution. Coming to a group with a resolution isn't saying you have to do this. It's saying, hey, we have a lot of student support for this, and we can see that there's a way for us to work together on this. There's no forcing. I know from working with administration that they just simply won't be forced to do anything. But coming with vast student support and saying, this is something that we really care about, and we want to work with you guys to make this happen, that is really powerful. And so passing a resolution like this doesn't force the administration to do anything. It's not disrespectful. It's not rude. It's just saying we have student support behind this, and there's a reason that this matters, especially if it's something that administration doesn't get to talk to students a lot about. So.
Yes, Bridget.
And mirroring that sentiment kind of in defense of why it is helpful to bring something forward like this to administration even before you've had, even if like there haven't been recent formal meetings. In my own past experience with advocacy efforts for basically it was for the wage change a couple of years ago. What we were told directly by the Vice President of Student Affairs is that before they have discussions about that, they like to first see that there's student support behind it. And a student senate resolution was what they recommended to us before those conversations. So it is a nice entryway at times and has been recommended by admin in the past.
Yes, Kate. Sorry, can you just say it?
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Notre Dame Student Government. I want to echo what Bridget and Mary Grace said. I was a senator last year. I was the Welsh Freedom Senator during the ASL bill. And I am very familiar with the conversation that was had about that in terms of the process that had been taken. And that was a large, I would say, in my opinion, sway in why that vote ultimately failed. I would say that was like probably the main reason. And I think in this case, there are a lot of distinctions from the ASL bill. And that should definitely not be anyone's holdup in voting for this resolution.
Eva and then Sam.
I would also say too, I think it is important. I think folks may be considering, you know, where the university's Catholic stance would align with this issue, and if that was potentially a reason in the past why this wasn't implemented, but it is stated in the resolution itself that this is in place at other Holy Cross specifically run institutions. And I think we would all do well to remember that when we're voting, that this is not something that is, it seems from the implementation at least, contrary to how Holy Cross order runs academic institutions. So that I think is something important to remember as well.
Sam.
Yeah, I just want to say that there are several avenues to say that something has support and then pass a resolution. Particularly speaking, I was respectfully attacked because I did not meet with Professor Madison before I proposed my moral resolution, and even then there were several people who wanted him to talk here. I'm just saying, like, even though there could, I'm not arguing that the issue is not important, and on the issue alone, it should pass. But I am somewhat concerned about the whole administration. Also because a resolution is a call to action.
Great.
Hi, I'm Greg Gehring. I'm the director for LGBTQ advocacy for Student Government Executive Cabinet. What was your name?
Ava.
Ava. So kind of like what Ava was saying, based on benchmarking with other institutions, based on the work that our department has done with academic courses and other policy and program initiatives, it definitely is evident that there's almost like a lack of LGBTQ like inclusivity on campus, especially in like legal policies based on our benchmarking with other Catholic religious institutions. So I just kind of want to echo that as well. I feel like it's important, especially the students at the university, especially considering when almost 50% of LGBTQ men experience discrimination. So I just think that's important as well. Just echo what Mary Grace and Kay were saying too.
Ryan, sorry.
Again, just kind of like, that was a great example, Steve. Thank you for answering my question. But again, like a lot of this seems to be kind of like a grassroots thing. I just don't know how efficacious going to the university. It would certainly make a statement and say, hey, like the student will support this. But again, like Greg mentioned the legal policy and whatnot. I'm not as well versed in that, but I just don't know how efficacious this bill would be, even if passed and implemented by the university administration in preventing things that are non-administrative.
Yes.
I was gonna say, if the efficacy of the bill, I'm not a co-sponsor, so there are other people that can 100% speak to this more than I can, so I'll keep this brief. But my instinct, at least, is if the largest thing hindering people from voting yes for this is how effective will it be, just pass it and see. And if it's not enough, we will revisit the issue. We will come back to it. We will do more. Passing it can only tell us where the shortcomings are. It can only tell us where we need more support, where more needs to be done. If you're gonna vote no because you don't think it'll be super effective, you're making it ineffective. You're not allowing the issue to have anything done.
I saw your hand, then we'll go over to the side, Max and Libby.
Hi, I'm Lena Doherty. I am the Director of Gender Relations Title IX Women's Initiatives. I wanted to speak to a little bit about your point, and please, anybody has information on this that contradicts mine, please let me know. But as of right now, the non-discrimination clause hosts things such as sex, ethnicity, race, ability. If you are, you know, like how like a speak up report works, right? Like if I was in a classroom and somebody discriminated me against my ability or my sex, then I would be able to file that speak up report, and then the university would be able to do something. If somebody made a comment to me that was a discriminatory comment about my sexual orientation, and then I filed that speak up report, the university, according to DULOC, would not be able to, they wouldn't be doing anything on the basis of DULOC. So that's why I think it's so important to have sexual orientation in the non-discrimination clause, or to at least push for it, so that it can be included in the non-discrimination, just as any other identity would. Please correct me if I'm.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, remember what Sam said about, being attacked, as he said, with his resolution earlier. I don't think it's equivalent to this that much in regards to like justice and how, this bill affects the students. Like, I think a one credit class is a lot different than, a student being able to speak up about, discrimination against them. And also another point I'd really like to emphasize, how Bridget said that admin have said in the past that student like grassroots efforts are encouraged and have been like effective, and they like to see that. I mean, we're the student senate, we're supposed to represent the students, and I think this bill is definitely in favor with students. And also just like, maybe this is anecdotal or maybe not relevant, but like if you just think about like how much the university preaches, like during welcome weekend especially, about being welcoming to all different diversity kinds of people. They emphasize sexual orientation during welcome weekend too. How many pride stickers are on rectors or RA's doors? I just kind of get practice what you preach type of thing. So that's my take.
Yes, Libby.
Yeah, and kind of going off like benchmarking and a couple of other things, like this was an Observer article, like the similar Observer article, that out of the US News top 50 universities in 2022, us and Pepperdine are the only two out of all of them to not protect both gender identity and sexual orientation. Obviously, I know this is just about sexual orientation. And St. Mary's also includes sexual orientation in their non-discrimination policy. I think, and kind of going off of what Andrew said about like this has been over 10 years, I think it is urgent that we as a student body, if we believe that we support this issue, to continue to bring it up with administration, because clearly there has not been sufficient change.
Thanks, Libby. Yeah, Louis.
Motion to move out of debate until vote.
I saw Mary Grace's hand. So Mary Grace, do you want to make a point before that?
Yeah, I just want you guys to think about what it would look like if the United States Senate were voting on this. I know that we're not the United States Senate, but I think that it's really important to consider the image that we give to students who come into this university, who are at this university. Y'all represent the student body, and I think it's really important that we at least show that we are welcoming and kind and loving to all those, regardless of sexual orientation. And I know that if the US Senate didn't pass something like this, I mean, I have friends who would not feel welcome in the US after that. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
I just wanted to conclude by bringing your attention to, so I know there's been talk about like university dressing specifically, and in 1988, there was a Notre Dame report done by the Task Force on Marriage, Family, and Other Life Commitments.
Sorry, I don't, can you speak a little bit more slowly? Sorry.
Slowly, I'm sorry.
No, you're really good.
Okay, so this was a Notre Dame report done in 1988, commissioned by the university itself. This came from the Task Force on Marriage, Family, and Other Life Commitments. One of the specific things that they recommended, one of their recommendations in this was that the university explicitly include sexual orientation in its formal non-discrimination policy statements. This just shows that this issue has been brought to administration before, and I mean, they're clearly well aware of it. So I think that just continuing to remind them that this is on students' minds, and this is something that's important, is just gets at.
Do we have any more points of debate? Louis, do you want to still make your motion?
Motion to move out of debate into a vote.
Second.
Okay, we are now going to vote on moving out of debate and into a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, great. We are now going to vote on SS 232410, a resolution to urge protection of sexual orientation in the university's non-discrimination clause. All those in,
I don't know, how do I ask a question? Someone, Claire who just left made me her proxy. I just wanted to make sure that was like,
Yeah, so just when we vote, just raise your hand.
cool, thank you.
that's fine. Okay, we're now going to vote on a resolution to urge protection of sexual orientation in the university's non-discrimination clause. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the resolution passes. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you to everyone as well who co-sponsored the bill. Congratulations to all of you. Okay, thank you I want to thank you for the respectful conversation that we were able to have. I really appreciate it, and from everyone. I thought it was a very productive and fruitful conversation on both sides, so I want to thank you for that. We are now in new business. Is there any resolution or actually there are no resolutions here, any order or nomination that anyone feels is pressing or would like to bring up at this time? Yes, Sam.
Question, can we even do that, because some of these are amending the constitution?
Yes, so some of them are going to go to CompCon, so, in fact, not C and D, so C and D, thank you, Sam, for bringing that up. A and B will go to CompCon, but C and D, will D go to CompCon? No, okay.
It's not a constitution.
Oh, D will. Yeah. So if anyone would like to bring up the nomination for judicial council president, that is on the table. The rest will go to CompCon and we'll hear them in the later weeks. Okay. Oh, you don't want to bring it up? Okay, great. Okay, then we won't bring it up. Awesome. Okay, we are now in announcements.
For sub, we have bubble soccer tomorrow. Signups are still open. You go onto the sub Instagram or our website. You can click the link. We also have a Acoustic Cafe tomorrow night, 8:30 to 10:30 as always. But we have Valentine's Day cookies and cookie decorating if you want to stop by. And then also executive director applications are open until tomorrow.
Yes, Rose.
Again, JPW is this weekend, so JPC is having a JPW event. It's 2 to 4 on Saturdays, right before mass and the dinner. But come win some fun prizes. You guys don't have to play like every single round. There's 6. You just have to play a round because there's a prize per round. So yeah, and there's food too.
Yeah, Andrew.
I just wanted to commend the work of judicial council for the election last week. I saw that there was a greatly increased turnout, so I thought that was really good, especially from the candidates running and the work of that the council does. So I just thought that was something to commend.
Yes, thank you. I think that they did a wonderful job as well. So I know Corin's not here, but Hunter and Ren, you guys did a great job. So thank you guys. We give them a round of applause. Thursday went very smoothly, and if I remember correctly, no allegations, right? So. It went very smoothly. Maybe I wasn't allowed to say that. But hey, it went very smoothly. It went very smoothly. Awesome, thank you. Yes.
This is just kind of a heads up. It's not officially made up yet, but Libby and I have been working on a club database that's going to be hosted on CCC website. There's a preliminary version of now, but also we're working on a survey that pending SAO approval, we're hoping to send out to hall councils. So just a quick survey about how people are finding clubs to join and what their experience has been like. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be sent out sometime soon. We'd really appreciate hall participation in that.
So, Leah.
There's a Black History Month showcase on Friday at 7 in Walsh Hall, Washington Hall. So if you guys can, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a few weeks late, but there is now a volunteer database that's on the student government website. It's pretty easy to find. It's on the top banner. But if you guys want to tell people in your dorm about it, it's a really good way, an easy way to find ways to give back to the South Bend community, volunteer on campus. So just consider looking at that and urging other people to look at that. And it's a good way to, give back.
So Walsh's spring signature event is next Thursday, it's Mr. NB in Washington Hall, so February 22nd at 5 p.m. If you go to their Instagram page, you can vote for the candidate that you want to win. So I'm just putting that out there.
I just wanted to say, J Council had its prospective senator information workshop yesterday. And so I think we're gonna start getting into the season where new people are gonna be interested in running for Senate. So I just wanted to tell you guys, if people interested in running for Senate, reach out to you, definitely encourage them, tell them how great it is. But remember that you can't endorse anyone running in your hall election.
Sam, I know you're excited about this announcement. 2 minutes, and I can't allow you to name any names, no personal names at all.
No names?
And no tickets. If any of that happens, then you cannot receive it. The
Can
announcement.
I name myself?
Yes,
Okay. I woke up
2 minutes.
on Thursday, February 8th, to find that someone attacked me by name on Yik Yak anonymously. These individuals have claimed that I poured out my heart and soul against a ticket that shall not be named, okay, for student body president and vice president. Furthermore, I was attacked 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The third one, I was claimed, Sammy G, this isn't gonna work in your favor after there was a repost for a post that attacked one of this ticket's campaigns. As a senator of Dylan Hall, this is not gonna look good on Dylan either. So I just want to testify here before the record to deny any allegations that were made against me on Yik Yak. These are all fake news. In fact, I'm willing to say that I didn't even criticize these tickets on Yik Yak. I criticized them on Fizz, and I criticized all of the tickets. Empty the community tables. Okay? Now, granted, I will say these allegations started because a lot of people asked me, "Oh, you better vote for Sammy G." And so then I said, well, anybody but this. And I was just trying to make sure that the district council didn't prosecute me, and also because Dylan Hall would really hate me and said who I was gonna vote for. But I just want to clarify also, I'm very proud of the mention on Yik Yak. Like, this doesn't come every single day. However, I deny. Also, I wanna
30 seconds.
one last message to the individuals who wrote this comment. I give you one last message, okay? And I want you to listen very carefully.
I don't even know what that is. Thank you, Sam. Okay, but now we're in motion. All those in favor of adjourning? Opposed, abstained. Great, thank you. Everyone have a great week.
It's not gonna be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Thank you. No, someone mentioned me on, yeah, I got